Hey everybody, woohoo! Thank you guys for joining us today. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic medium. I'm a spirit navigator. I'm on the screen with my good friend Afefe with Touched by Tarot. We're here to answer your political questions. Maybe talk you down off a ledge. Maybe you're going to talk us down off of a ledge. I don't know. Afefe's never on a ledge. Afefe is the epitome of chill and cool, and we're going to get through this. Me, I've already gotten into my chocolate stash, so you know what's going on. Thank you guys so much for joining us. How are you, Afefe?
I'm doing really well. Always. Anytime I have a chance to get together with you and the peeps, it's a win-win. So thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
You're so welcome. We're going to do this more often. I see from the comments that Kevin Loving Vibrations is in the chat. Thank you for joining us, Kevin. We got some readers already. I know we have a lot of questions. We're probably not going to be able to get to all of them, but we're going to do our best. Is there anything off the top of your mind, Afefe? There may not be anything, but is there anything that you want to talk about?
You know what? Something by way of encouragement, like to start it off on perhaps on a high note. And so earlier today, I caught a collab on YouTube between, I'm sure many of you are familiar with Lee Harris and Pam Gregory, the astrologer and the energy. Yeah, they did a collab.
They were together?
They were together. Apparently they're friends or they've become friends. And when I looked on their channel, like they've done a few things together.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, but their latest one, they did a collab about the energy. So Lee Harris from a channeling energy projection, and then of course Pam Gregory from an astrological perspective. They did a thing on their predictions of energy and events for the latter half of the year, between July and December of this year. But the thing that Lee Harris said, that I wrote it down, he said, the bottom line is a lot of what we are going to see is dark energy implodes. Quote unquote, dark energy implodes. And he said, as well as Pam Gregory from the planets, that we the people, this whole Pluto and Aquarius, this whole people rising up and being prepared, like he just said, bottom line is I wrote it down. He said, hold your nerve. Hold your nerve. Hold your courage, hold your nerve. Don't let it slip, because this really is some, of course we're still going to be going through what we're going to go through, but the back end of it is so, like when he said the dark energy implodes. I mean, look at what's happening now with Epstein, right? And I'm sure we're going to get the Epstein files. I'm sure we're going to get into some of that tonight, but I needed to hear it, and maybe you all did as well, just to remind ourselves this is on the way out. Sooner or later, this is on the way out.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I've been seeing that. And I feel like what gives me hope too, besides those amazing luminaries that you're talking about, is that I'm starting to see in the physical world, meaning it's manifesting in reality, the cracks, like the widow of the woman, the widow of the man who was Killed in the fake attempt, went on Fox News. First of all, Fox News let her come on. I mean, let's break it down, right? Like we take a lot of this stuff for granted. And she came on Fox News and with her daughters behind her, and I stared at it because I was like, is this AI?
Right.
And she was super mad. She was like, look, there's been no investigation. I don't understand why why did it happen this time? But this man has been all over the place, right? Like all over the place. Nobody's ever had another attempt like this. She said this on the video. And then so what people have said back to me on social media is, yeah, but he called her and now she's calm, and they put some Secret Service people on leave with no pay. But you don't understand, you guys. She went on Fox News allowed it. This is big. These are things that normally get covered up. These are things that normally would never see the light of day. These are people who would normally never question. So we have this really starting to show up in reality. And I really think it's the beginning of the end. I really do. I feel relatively positive, honestly, about the end of the year, around the fall and the end of the year. I'm not saying that everything, no, nothing is going to get fixed. We're not going to snap our fingers. Of course, everything is going to dissolve. We're going to have to rebuild it. But you know what I'm getting now is, so if your house burns down, you can cry while you're looking at the ashes. You
Mm-hmm.
can cry while you're working with the builder to rebuild it.
That's it.
But at some point you're getting to rebuild it,
That's
you
it.
know, and at some point you step into that, gosh, I didn't want this, but now I can have the kitchen I always wanted. Right? That's where we are.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I was just thinking as you said that, Susan, that now I can have the remodeled kitchen. Now I can put in the hardwood floors that I've been wanting forever or whatever. So there is that momentum that comes out of that. And you're absolutely right about, Fox News has been doing some interesting things lately, especially around this Epstein matter, going back to that for a second. I mean, that their coverage of that and what is coming out of their mouths, those talking heads on there, has been quite challenging to this administration. Something that has just been previously unheard of. Absolutely. You got, what's his name? Alex Jones on social crying. Crying. Like real tears.
I shouldn't laugh, but it is funny. I mean, but this is what we're going to see is these people's, they're, you're going to see some things, you guys, you're just not going to believe it at first. And I don't blame you. I don't blame you, but just hold on, because you're going to see more things, because I feel like, and I want Afefe to go to the cards or go to her guides, but I feel like he's being moved out of the picture, right? Like that's what I feel like. I feel like he's just being gently moved out of the picture, because once his cults gets a little, like they're not sure, they start waffling a little bit. We're not always going to be, there's always going to be the crazies, right? But the majority of them, then they can remove him. They can just push him out of the way. Do you feel like that? Do you feel like that's the energy?
I do, and I actually, Susan and company, I actually also feel like he's doing a lot of it to himself. When you think about it, a lot of what he has been like, when he's put in front of the cameras now, with a lot of at the press conferences or the meetings or whatever, and he is deferring more and more to whomever the respective person is. Let Pam talk about this. Let Scott Bessent talk about that. Let Hegseth, well, he's pulling it a little bit back on Hegseth, we know, but you get what I'm saying. Like more and more, you're seeing him kind of pull himself, or make his comments really, really short and then duck out of there. Like especially when he's on Air Force One.
Yeah,
he's diminishing. He sees himself diminishing, and he's pulling himself back. He doesn't trust himself.
I know he doesn't trust himself, but is it also that he doesn't want to take responsibility?
Absolutely.
I mean, he wants to be able to throw those people under the bus, right?
Oh, he will. I was wondering, I was halfway concerned for Melania for a hot minute when he took her to Texas. I was like, is this a setup? Because I was like,
you're worried about Melania, dang.
What's she doing there? Like, we know the last time she went to Texas over an emergency, it didn't go very well. So, like, Yeah, I do. I have a couple of decks in front of me, but a lot of people on the platform have been enjoying from mini readers this predictions deck. It's taken off like wildfire. And you're going to love this. I pulled a solution to the problem and declassified documents.
They're going to set that man up and light him on fire.
Yes, because it's increasingly becoming a us versus him situation. It is. I mean, you think about it right now. You got Bondi in the hot seat. You got Hegseth in the hot seat. Now you got Bongino, and with him, Cash Patel. Like everybody. The only person who's still sitting pretty, I think, just for the moment, is Stephen Miller. But Stephen Miller is going. He's getting too big for his britches, and he's next. He's next.
He's next. Okay, let's talk about him because Karen had a question about Stephen Miller, because he's really sort of the focused hate energy, I think, right? Like I think really 45 is just trying to be in the phone booth grabbing all the dollar bills. And Miller's the one who's like, we need to do this cleansing kind of thing. So when you say that, so let's walk through that for a second, just for a second. Walk with me. Do you feel like, I mean, we're predicting, guys, we cannot be 100% because if we were 100% right all the time, we love you very much, but we wouldn't be here. We would have all the money in the world. We would have we would. So anyway, but, and it's for entertainment purposes only, but do you see him being pushed to the felon being pushed to the side by the end of the year, out of office, perhaps? Let's be very specific.
By December 2025.
Yes. I mean, yes, go ahead. I'm not going to tell you what I think. I'll just see what you want to think. Thank you, Rose Blue, and thank you everybody else for the super chats on Afefe's channel. Appreciate you. Thank you guys for joining us today. We're all together because of him. Imagine that. I wouldn't be looking at you without this guy. So he did do that for us.
I don't know if he's gone, but he's on his way out.
Okay.
I was going to Tara when we were talking about Stephen Miller, but when we went back to him, looking at him till the end of the year, I went back to the prediction step because it's just been on fire when it comes to him. So look, I have a support role. Now, I think this is pointing to Vance. I do. I think this is pointing to Vance, meaning something will happen to him that puts somebody who was in a Vance or somebody who's in a support role having to, because then I get a commercial airline. I don't know if that has something possibly that could happen with Air Force One, or that he would have to go somewhere because he is unable to perform his duties. But that feels like, or if he does something overseas, that then he has some form of a health crisis. But there's something there. And finally, heavy burdens that comes up. There's I'm going to pull from tarot. I don't know. And I have looked at this before. I don't know that he will actually not be here on the planet anymore by then, but I do get a sense that he's going to have some sort of health crisis, emergency, something that essentially takes him out.
That's what I think. That's what I think too. But I think it could be planned also, if you understand what I'm saying.
I do. Commercial airline, maintenance,
Who forgot the gas? Who forgot the jet fuel?
Entertainment purposes only.
I know, right?
Yeah, no, I think you're onto something there, Susan. I really
It just feels like the energy is building around this because you have to see it like they do. Like they see it like chessboard. And if people like Fox and other big names are willing to start saying, we're not sure about this, then there goes his support. And if the MAGAs go, there goes his support. Then it leaves a vulnerability. And what I wrote on social media is these kinds of people, when you're vulnerable and weak, you get eaten.
You get eaten.
Right? It's whoever's the fittest, whoever's the strongest. If you're vulnerable, you're out. You're just out.
You are. I mean, look at what they're doing right now, going back to Bondi. Look at what they're doing. The sharks have circled and there's blood in the water. And she seemed, almost invincible a while ago because she was
down.
Favorite by him and not anymore.
So do you see Bongino, or however you say, because he's the one who's, what I saw a leak from him. We don't have this verified, but the leak said either she goes or I'll quit and burn her down. Like this guy saying, I will have my own podcast. I will have my own show. And I will literally, I see those flamethrowers. That's what they're showing me. Right.
Yes.
So do you feel like that could happen? That Bongino could, do you feel like a exodus of his cabinet?
Not yet. I think He is 45 is scrambling. I'm getting that he's scrambling so hard to keep everybody together because he doesn't want the humiliation. He knows what happened in that first administration, and he knows the comparisons are being made. And he also knows that he picked the most inept people that on the face of the planet who absolutely should not be in those jobs, right? Sure. So he takes everything. He's an ultimate narcissist, malignant narcissist. So their removal, it is about him. I get, and what, Congress is going to step up and kick these people out? Nope. So it's either they, which Bongino is saying, I'll leave. Like, you don't have to put me out. He didn't show up for work. Was it Thursday and Friday? He didn't show up. He said, I'm not even showing up. I'm out. And he hasn't formally resigned, but apparently he did this to sort of indicate, I'm that pissed off that I'm just not going to work. That if she's there, I'm not coming. And the idea is if he goes, then Kash Patel is going to go right behind him. So I don't know that, right? So I don't know that Spirit is Trump is. Sorry about that. Is 45 going to let any of these people in his cabinet go next 30 to 60 days? Is he going to start to let people go next 30 to 60 days? I did get strength. Oh, but you know what? That's loyalty. That's Leo loyalty, holding on. Yeah. And because they prop him up. Yeah. And he doesn't trust. So I don't think it's going to come from him, Susan. I think it's going to happen, but it'll happen because they start to surrender.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What if they just walk out, and then what does that make him look weak? If you cannot keep your gang, you can't keep your team together, because he's always been able to bully people and say, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And I feel like somebody's going to walk out, and then he's going to elicit some kind of statement after that says he's fired. But everybody knows they left. Like, you didn't fire me, I left, right? Exactly. He's really weak. You guys, this is going to continue to weaken him visibly, unfortunately, to our enemies and to people who don't want us to be, powerful, but also to his own people, his own crew, his own cult.
Exactly. And I will say just quickly, just right behind that strength card that I pulled, I pulled the 5 of Pentacles and the World. Notice in this particular deck on that 5 of Pentacles, it says change and disruption.
Oh, imagine that. Yeah, I don't think he can hold it together.
Exactly.
Opportunity to travel.
You got that plane a minute ago.
It's falling apart, you guys. Let's see if I'm not sure. Well, I'll just say timing is terrible, but I really feel comfortable saying that this is going to happen this year. I would say in the past, as far as timing, the thing that he does very well is that he puts the tariffs and then pulls the tariffs. He does the thing, he pulls the thing. It's very hard to predict because, well, we didn't predict food shortages. I never got on that. I never got on the World War. We saw the potential of it, but we understood that there wasn't enough energy behind it to really make it happen. So it is hard to predict him, but I really feel like this cannot, my guys just keep saying this cannot continue. You can't keep going into fields and getting people out that are citizens or not, that are growing our food and expect us to be able to eat. You can't continue to treat people like this and expect the economy to continue to operate. And when it comes all the way down to it, the thing that guides have been saying to me for 3 days is, okay, these robber barons don't want to pay taxes. That's true. We know that. But they want to make money.
That's right.
And if they've got to pay taxes to make money, then they're going to do it. So they're going to end up sitting down and saying, what do we have to do to fix this? We are boycotting everybody. We're boycotting Etsy. We're boycotting Home Depot. We're boycotting Amazon. We're boycotting Walmart. I don't even know where we're going to be shopping now. We're going to learn how to sew. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to make the pandemic look like child's play by the time, and we're doing it. We're leading this energy. They can't just snap their fingers and make us go buy their products. So this is serious, and we can't keep going like this. It just won't happen.
Yeah.
So let's say that he goes out. You see, well, obviously, constitutionally, JD comes in. Have you done any work on how long you think JD might be in office?
Not long. I'm not getting an actual time frame, but I know that will not last. First and foremost, because I get the sense that, and I'd love to hear what your guides and what you're getting on it. I get the sense that the minute he goes in there, the GOP is going to snap out of its slumber and go, okay, here we go. And so they're the pushback, investigations.
Yes. Oh my God.
Suddenly realizing, oh, I guess we really did have the power of the purse and we really did have a job to do. That all of it, boom, boom, boom. The minute that he is put in that position, they don't respect him. They don't like him. They don't want to cooperate with him. He does not have the hold on the corporate folk.
He doesn't have the MAGAs.
And he didn't have the MAGAs, and he still does. So the minute
I agree with you. It'll be like somebody flipped a switch. We're all going to be like, what just happened, right? And the Democrats will join, and then you're going to see investigations. I feel like you're going to see another Mueller report, another just a firestorm of investigations. And I don't know if that's what makes it. What's that?
Saying there's so much. I'm sorry to interrupt you. There's so much to investigate, right?
Yes,
there's so much.
Too much. So when JD is in, I don't know how long he's going to be in for. I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be long. It's not going to be to the end of the term, to the end of the presidential term. I don't think it's going to be to the midterms, but we'll see. When he's in, what do you feel his connection, his support or not support, or the word I'm getting is fealty with Miller? How is him and Miller going to be, operating together?
When I look at Miller's energy, he's such a sycophant.
That's true.
I think he will play. I get the sense that he will play along to get along with JD because he feels like he will outlast JD.
Oh God, I think you're right. You're right. Oh my God, you're so right.
Yeah.
That gave me chills, and not in a good way. Not in a good way.
No, me either.
Oh.
Yeah, he feels like he's got staying power.
That's true. But look at Roger Stone. That man was in Nixon. And they just somehow they go into their cockroach hotel and wait until the darkness happens, and then they run out. And that's what you're right. Miller's not an old guy. He's thinking, I'll do the damage. I'll do as much as I can. I'll move the ball down the field. I'll do whatever I can, and then let them claw it back. But they probably won't. They probably won't go all the way back to whatever.
Whoever's in that next wave, I'll be right in there with them. I'll be right in that next wave of whoever the power brokers on that side are. He thinks, I'll be ready to be on the next winning team.
I hate that so much.
I know.
So do you see, we're talking about, and I think we both see a lot of investigations. I think it could be frustrating because it's like, which one comes first? And we're like, no, we wanted that one, but it doesn't matter. Do you see Miller being investigated? Are his fingerprints all over this disappearing of citizens?
If I had bells, I'd ring them right now. Ding, ding, ding.
Well, let's get some bells. Why do we got bells?
Hold on. Look. Don't tip me.
I know. Look.
No,
let's do it.
There we go. That's my girl. That's like, y'all see why we love her. Yeah, because
our synchronicities,
of all of the atrocities that are occurring right now.
Yeah.
The bill the economy, what's about to happen with Medicaid, people suffering, SNAP, of all of the atrocities. What we are seeing play out in real time with people being snatched. The 3 Florida Dems, congressional Dems, Maxwell Frost, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and Jared Moskowitz were on live today. They finally forced their hand down at Alligator Alcatraz and got entry to that facility. And what they described, that they had to get their drinking water from the toilets.
Oh, Jesus.
There are only 3 toilets. There are 32 people to a cage and 3 toilets, and they have to get their drinking water from the toilets. This is what they witnessed today. Those 3, Frost, Wasserman Schultz, and Moskowitz. And they were on the thing, reporting live from there. They didn't, of course, they couldn't film inside the facility. So my point,
but they saw it.
They saw it.
So it goes back to the fact that how many of these representatives have tried to get in? How many? And now all of a sudden, those three who are not conservatives walk in. I'm telling you, there's a reason that all of a sudden the green light happened and they got to walk in. I'm telling you guys.
Shit, though. They tried to show up with unannounced and they got turned away. And so they said, okay, fine. So can you imagine if, Susan, if they had to get permission to visit, because the first time they were turned away, they did not let it deter them. They said, okay, what do we have to do? Because we're coming in. So can you imagine if they saw that with them knowing and having plans for them to visit? Imagine what's happening.
It's horrendous. But, these representatives have tried to get into other detention centers and been turned away, and it's against the law. Congress people don't even have to make they don't have to make an appointment. They have carte blanche to walk in. As a matter of fact, that's when the guy got arrested in New York, right? So, but all of a sudden, they're like, okay, we'll let you in. The most heinous, look, you guys, I'm telling you, there's a reason they were let in. They didn't have to be let in. They could have said no the way they've said no. They don't care about the law. They understand that they've made a deal, that he's out. Vance is going to come in. He's going to try to rebrand himself as more sensible, more calm. He's going to roll back things that's going to make Americans happy. It's not going to roll back to Biden, but it's going to roll back 50% of the crazy. And then people are going to hope that people are going to go back to not boycotting and not. But that's where we go back to Miller, because even though Vance is saying, hey, kumbaya, we love each other, Miller, I don't see singing kumbaya. I see him doing the same thing.
That's right.
Doing the same thing. Like, and then you have a disconnect between this is what's coming out of the administration and this is what's happening on the ground. And it's not going to work.
That's right. And to your point, Susan, and you're absolutely right. I agree. To your point, the reason they're going to go after him so hard because of the illegality of what he's done. For them to course correct behind the bill at the end of the day was passed by Congress. It was, at the end of the day, they did this. So then they're going to have to go clean up their own mess, rather to repeal it or whatever they got to do to clean that up. But what the illegality of what Miller is putting in place, these folks that are out here, the maybe even I'm getting the Jan 6ers in these masks and whatever, the pardoned Jan 6ers among many, many others. These so-called deputized people who are just unmarked cars, snatching, like the illegality. They're going to eat him up. They're going to eat him up.
They're going to eat Miller up.
They're going to eat.
So is he going to go to prison? He'll like that. Because he'll recruit his own gang and, he'll become a lord. You know what I mean? He'll try to become some kind of, I don't know. I want to know what is his, I'm trying to not say words that would be bad. What is his timeline? The Hague. Yeah, ICC.
Somebody said the Hague is going after him.
Somebody said that could be, like that's their Gollum. It's true. The bill can be, parts of the bill I think will be revoked and rewritten and done.
This is going to take a long time.
It's going to take a long time, but that's the rebuilding, you guys. That's why I keep telling you guys, we have to be ready to rebuild. We can't be so exhausted from the fight that we can't build the new version of our democracy. Oh, thanks, Old Windwalker. Thank you for that. Go ahead, Afefe.
I think they're going to try and protect him.
Who they? We got to get them too. Put their name up on the ground.
I don't know if this is the Heritage. The Heritage Foundation Project 2025 people. Because remember, he came out of that. He's come out of that as well. He's been central to, and I'll tell you why. I see him as trying to be, which is what you said. Here's what's happening here, and then here's what's happening underneath. So that's him thinking, and this is what he's really doing right now. He sees himself as a shadow ruler, right?
That's true.
There's a disappointing outcome in fake news, though. So I think what's going to happen is when they go after him and these prosecutions start, this feels like they're going to mount a campaign ferociously that tries to dismantle the evidence that they have against him. So it's not going to be a slam dunk. You did this, we got you, into a hole, a cave in the ground you go. I think there's going to be a concerted effort to try and come back with it from, and say, what you saw is not what you saw. He's going to try and do a 45. It wasn't me. I know you read in the news that it was me, but it wasn't me. So I'm getting that there is punishment coming his way, but there is also a force behind him that tries to protect him. Because
he's going to slither. He's going to slither out. He's going to, and you know what though, and I don't know if you've read on this either, but I'm sure we're psychic 24/7 guys. If we haven't read on it, doesn't mean we don't think it. These people that are, the ICE people, whatever they are, they're going to pay a heavy price, especially these people that were just deputized. And, whether they had a career in law enforcement, it doesn't matter. They are going to pay a heavy price. So I think, unfortunately, Stephen Miller steps to the side and throws everybody else under the bus. Just exactly what Afefe is saying. That's also what the felon does, right? Public life burn off, in prison detained. Yes. They're going to pay a heavy price, you guys.
Ultimately.
Heavy. They're going to go to prison. I think some of these people are really going to go to prison. For what? Because you wanted to be a bully, or you wanted to make, thousands of dollars? Because some of those people, I don't know. I don't know that they're all evil. I don't know what their reasoning is, but they're going to pay.
The reasoning is they have a very different idea. And this has been said about Stephen Miller and others, but in particular about Stephen Miller, even among people who knew him back in his days in college. What, didn't he go to Duke or UNC or one? I know he went to school in North Carolina. I want to say it was either Duke or UNC. So maybe somebody in the chat knows. But they said this was this guy in college.
Oh, right.
A rabid white supremacist in college, right? And what has happened and I saw read some things about it today. The end game here, Susan, for a lot of these people really seems to be as twisted and as sick as it sounds. They have this is the fascism part of it. They have a notion of who is American and what America is, and they want to erase any and everybody that does not comport with that.
Right.
And that is the mission. The mission is
right. It's cleansing. It's cleansing.
It's cleansing. It's
racism. It's what I've been saying for years. So even if Miller goes to prison, you guys, please see Roger Stone. Okay, when Afefe says he's going to get out of it, it doesn't mean that he won't get a little prison sentence or a little jail time. It means that eventually water seeks level, is what the guides just told me. He's going to go back to his ways. He's going to go back to his people. He's he's always going to seek power. If he's in prison, he's going to have his own gang. I mean, he's always this is his mindset. He's not going to stop until he crosses over. And I don't see him crossing over. So in that way, I hate to say it, he's kind of a good teacher, right? He's going to apply the lesson to us. Did you learn? Do you agree that we're all one? Are you ready to accept that?
That's right. That's right. And what's interesting about him too, Susan, you were talking, all of these things like the tentacles, they're showing me the tentacles that go back to 45 is just as you said with Vance, he's not the MAGA base is not a big fan of his.
No, they're not.
You know what I mean?
No.
He doesn't, and which is one reason why I don't think he's ever indicated that he wants to try to level up and run for public office. He likes that shadow ruler. He likes that shadow power. He likes being right here behind, like you described, there's what's happening here, and then there's what's happening here. He loves that. He thinks he can get a lot more done there. But yeah, he's in trouble. And I didn't mean to indicate that he's going to escape it. I just think when the house of cards really starts to fall and these investigations launch and these indictments perhaps come, there will be opposition. There will be, whether that's the attorneys he gets or whatever, there's going to be opposition to it. But ultimately, we saw imprisonment and detained. I think you're right on the money, Susan.
Either way, it's not going to stop him. But listen, we have the ability to heal this. I will just say, as a white person, right, like that, I feel like my fellow white people are seeing for the first time. Like I just explained this to somebody the other day, that this is our time. Like we're like, but this isn't fair. This is not America. And I have to remind them, Native Americans, Black Americans, Asian Americans have never had the experience that I have had, right? Like, so this has been unequal. This has not been America, apple pie, whatever. This is our chance, because now we're getting to see it and whatever, experience just a little bit of it. And that this is our opportunity to really heal, to really go beneath the surface and fix something that's been broken.
Yeah.
So if you look at it like this is truth coming out. Yeah. We're seeing the truth. Look, I'll tell you guys that I promise you, even during Obama, even during Clinton, even during Biden, that ICE was abducting people and disappearing them. I have a good friend whose sister was married to a Border Patrol guy who went to prison. So I know this happens, okay? This is not like it hasn't been happening. What's happening now is that it's accepted, that our administration has said, yeah, this is what we want. And unfortunately, a subset of our population has said, yeah, that's what we want. So now it's on the big screen for us to see. We've been shielded from this. Now we're seeing it, and we can't unsee it. Now, what are we going to do about it?
That's right. That's right. Because the ethnic cleansing that we're seeing. So, and first, let me say I honor you and I appreciate you so much for your honesty and your integrity. And, some of these things are really difficult for us to talk about. And I honor you, community, as well, for being here, because we are all in this together. We're all impacted. And for me, as I am really motivated because unlike some of our struggles in the past, there is no singular subset of people who are being targeted by this. This is not just about denying Black people the right to vote or denying them housing or education, like, what prompted the civil rights movement or Jim Crow and lynching laws. This is not that. This is white. This is brown. This is Asian. This is gay. This is poor versus rich. This is everything that they have deemed to be the other. This is women. A lot of this started with the whole Dobbs thing, right? Not started, but you all get my drift. So this is other in women, meaning not white male. not that guy who needs to be in charge. So I honor you for saying that, and I appreciate your honesty in bringing that up as a discussion, because I do think that if we are able to have those kinds of discussions, we can it'll help us understand why we all are impacted by this. We can do this together. We can stay strong together, and ultimately there's strength in numbers. Kamala Harris used to remind us of that, as many others have as well. We got the numbers. We got the numbers. We're just up against all the trickery and the what we see about to happen in Texas, or he's trying to do in Texas, in the midst of everything going on right now in Texas. And he tells Greg Abbott, stop what you're doing. I need you to go draw up some maps, I need you to get this thing straight.
And get rid of Jasmine Crockett and get rid of Jasmine Crockett. So let's talk about her for a second, because I do want to say that we have the numbers, you guys, when sometimes I think we think all of America's rotten, but it's not. It's gerrymandered. Texas is gerrymandered. I could vote and it doesn't matter, right? But let's talk about Jasmine, because she's one of my favorite people. Do you think they will indeed redraw her map so that they put her in a Republican dominated map?
Spirit, will Jasmine Crockett's district get changed? Will she wind up? It's a possibility. Temperance and the Two of Cups.
Yeah, it's a possibility. So I have a follow-up question. Here's the kicker. Will it matter?
You
just yes.
Okay, because I don't think it's gonna matter. I think because something about that Two of Cups is drawing me to. You see that embrace, even in that image in that card, the embrace. I think, surprisingly, there may be some people who are so utterly disgusted. I mean, you look at the state of what's Abbott, crazy as hell for entertainment, allegedly, supposedly for entertainment purposes. Ted Cruz, once again, off on a beach drinking a pina colada somewhere, swearing that he did the best he could to get back ASAP, and then they caught him in some messages or phone calls that were after the fact, and they timed his plane coming back. There was a delay. Lied, right? We got Kim Paxton now. Angela Paxton is about to put the juice all over the streets.
I'm telling you, that wouldn't normally happen.
And that wouldn't
normally happen. Those couples would be like this.
38 years, and he's been doing this a long time, and 10 indictments later, and she hung in there, and then she said no more. So to the point of Jasmine Crockett, what I think Spirit is saying here between Temperance and this Two of Cups is there's going to be some surprising shifts. Remember, Temperance is a card of polarized opposites that come together to create something different. It's fire and ice, oil and water, up and down, north and south. It's something where something gets alchemized. Yes. Coming with the Two of Cups. Yeah.
That's her alchemizing the red. And I'm gonna tell y'all, I just left Texas, but I lived there long enough that I might as well be one. What happened to those campers? What happened to those people on that river is going to change Texas forever. For so many reasons. It has the energy of Uvalde, which was the big, school, SHOOTING. But that was a pretty poor, reasonably, working class area, unfortunately, with a lot of people who were Hispanic. This river, the billionaire Hunt, his granddaughter was missing, because this river is like iconic. People in the United States might think the Alamo. No, this river is iconic. You don't mess with, and all of these delays, people trying to get a hold of FEMA and nobody's answering and nobody's getting back, delays with Cruz, delays with Paxton and Abbott and Trump. Trump is playing golf instead of visiting. No, that I'm sorry, Texas is done. I'm just going to call it right now. Texas is done, and I think that if they redistrict her, like Afefe is saying, if they redistrict her district, I think she can win it. And I think that's when they're going to realize we are screwed. It is, we can no longer manipulate this system, despite the fact that we've manipulated it to the nth degree. So that's interesting. Do you see Jasmine Crockett running for Senate?
Yes, 150%. And I'll tell you why. I caught her. She did a segment with Ari Melber on, was it Ari Melber? Somebody on MSNBC. Today's Saturday. It must have been like Wednesday or Thursday maybe. She did a segment and I caught her. And he made it was Ari Melber. He made the remark towards the end of her. He said, and who knows, we may just be calling you, the next time I have you on, we may just be calling you Senator Crockett. And she broke out in the biggest smile and just kind of gave him that look. Yes.
Okay, Jasmine, thank you for telling us.
Yes.
I agree. Jasmine, I think she might just
she's going for it. She's going for it, especially because of what happened with Robert Garcia. And, you know, he kind of, not in a bad way, I think it was politics, where he kind of elbowed her out. I've gotten excited over the oversight committee because, you know, she put her hat in the ring for that.
I know.
The next thing you know, it was a no. And a lot of people were like, huh? Like you first AOC and now Jasmine Crockett, what are you people doing? I think, and there's been, as we, you know, there's some talk, maybe AOC may go that way as well to the Senate. But for sure, I think she was indicating, and there was.
I think Jasmine's going to go. I think Jasmine has more fire in her belly. AOC has decided to kind of like maneuver in the confines of whatever the structure is. And I think Jasmine's like, screw that. I ain't got time. I don't have time for that. I'm just going to jump ahead. I'm just going to do my thing. She jumps first, doesn't look. She just has that kind of confidence that it's either going to work or it's not, but I got to go for it. Right. So that's kind of the difference between those two. Do you see Jasmine? I've never had this idea, but this just came to me. Do you see her going up into Texas politics, like as a governor, or do you see her staying in the Senate or in the Congress?
Yeah, I see her in, let me ask Spirit, but me, my own impression, I see her in DC. Now, I don't know. No, Spirit just tapped me on the shoulder. Hello. Because we got to remember she's young. She's very young still.
They're both young, and they're both, don't get me wrong, I'm an AOC fan. I'm not saying she's not on fire. I'm saying they have different energies about them.
But I'm getting, and what do you feel about this? I'm getting, part of the reason is because, remember, AOC can be fiery when she wants to be. She just came out and called a rapist.
I love them both.
She came out, quote unquote, called him a rapist. She will do it. But I think I had read this before and people were like, Afefe, you're going too far. I'm looking at her for 2028, perhaps.
For president.
Either president or VP. And I think AOC.
I can get that. I can see that. I can see that. No. 32 too.
And that's why she's doing this sort of, let me be very strategic and careful.
I don't blame her.
Because I think that's where she sees that's where she's headed. Jasmine is playing on a different stage right now.
Right, but that's true.
Right, governor, I think the reason Spirit tapped me on the back is governor maybe later, but definitely in the, you know, I'm feeling maybe the next 5-8 years, DC. She's got so much to do there. And she's got such a voice on a national stage now that I think that people are going to want more of and need more of, and she's going to be ready to do it.
Jasmine, you're talking about Jasmine, yeah.
Yeah, on a national stage.
Yes.
I think she's going to She's going to do some things in Texas. Spirit just said when they tap me, like maybe as she gets a little, kind of, they just reminded me of Tim Walz. They're showing me Tim Walz. Like, you know, he did his congressional thing, and then he went for governor. So I think you're onto something there, Susan. But what I'm getting is perhaps later in her career.
And I can see that. How old is Jasmine? Does anybody know?
You may know. Let me look it up real quick, or somebody will put it in the chat.
I think she's older than we think.
Is she?
I think so.
She just has such a young here.
I know. Well, she's got energy of a 20-year-old.
Here we go. She is 44.
44.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's still young, but I'm just, Jasmine, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, 44. Okay.
So
I don't know why she's a Texan, that girl, even though she has that very worldly, cosmopolitan, you know, she doesn't come across as a Texan, but she's got her roots are I don't know. She might come back and do the governor thing. I think she really loved Ann Richards, and I think she would like to continue that energy. And you know, she sees how important Texas is. It's a big state, and you know, stewarding that and shepherding that would be a big help to the United States.
I will tell you this, I just pulled 3 major arcana around that, but I am still leaning toward her doing it later in her career. I've got the Hierophant, and that is a beautiful card to pull when we're looking at government and government positions and high-ranking positions like that. So that's her, big, you know, the rise in her career. I've got Death, which feels like at some point death, as we know, can be a rebirth. So at some point there's a kickstart going from Congress perhaps to a governorship. But then I do have the star, Susan, and the star is, as you know, and the peeps in the chat, I love your comments. I love you all. The star is a card that very often takes time. You know, it's not like right here and right now, but it is looking off into the future, like what happens in the future. So I could see her doing that.
And the star follows like sickness or like it. So following death would make a lot of sense. Yeah. Transformation, and then she goes to her star. Guess what? The Lone Star State.
Oh.
Yeah. So what, I mean, like I like to say, I wouldn't wish Texas or the United States of America on anybody right now, right? Like I would pity the person that has to take over one of those two things right now, because they wouldn't get any, you know, credit for doing anything. It's just such a shite show. So yeah, I think let's get halfway there, and then she can pick up the mantle and carry it forward.
I'll tell you what else I think is going to shift, Susan. How are you feeling about Florida?
About who?
Florida. I think Florida's going to shift.
Oh yeah, no, I think Florida's going to shift too. It has to, Afefe. It has to. You know, you live in the state of Florida. You can't get insurance. We don't even have FEMA. I mean, we don't have satellites to predict hurricanes anymore. I don't even know how we're going to get through this. That's what I'm saying, you guys. This cannot stand. We're not going to be able to get through hurricane season, through tornado season, through all the other things. We can't do this. It's breaking down. So it's going to break down sooner rather than later. But you feel like Florida. Tell me about DeSantis. He's been another one of those Millers where he's been like, oh, I can run for office. And then he sparred with 45 and then came to some kind of truce, is hosting the alligator all switch down there. Yeah. So what about, and his wife, God knows she should be rung up on all kind of charges, frankly.
Under investigation. She's under investigation for misusing or mishandling some sort of funds that
all of Texas is, but they don't care. Like Paxton, all of those people, Patrick, have all been under FBI investigation. But so do you feel like that's going to happen? Do you have a timing? Do you feel like that might?
I think that certainly the 2028 election. I kid you not. There is so much happening here. And with DeSantis, which is, kind of a parallel with 45, because DeSantis had an iron grip over the legislature. And that's why Florida's gotten so, but he's term limited. He's out next year. He was trying to groom Casey DeSantis to take the mantle. She had the money and the funding. They were coming. But then 45 came in and said, my boy Byron, the wacko black man, that guy. He's against him. Byron is going for Byron. What's his name? You all?
What, Daniel? He's the guy that got married to the woman under duress to prove that he was straight.
Oh no, you're thinking Tim Scott.
I'm thinking Tim Scott. Byron. Okay, no, Byron. Okay.
Byron Donalds. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Donalds. Yeah. Okay.
And he was a major talking head. He's been a major talking head.
Is he in real estate or something?
No, he's in Congress.
But I mean before. Did he
before well, aren't they all?
Well, that's true. It's Florida. That's true. Okay, so he's pushing him.
So he's pushed him. Casey's coming under investigation for some mishandling of funds. So she's out. DeSantis's legislation, a legislative grip on the state representatives as well as the Florida Supreme Court. They are like, screw you, buddy. The last couple of initiatives that he's tried to put through, Alligator Alley notwithstanding, they've gone against him. Like his own people have turned against him.
So who's there to run? So who?
I don't know yet. They're they're already talking about Byron Donalds on the GOP side. Dems so far, hush hush. Like, don't know.
There was a woman that was running for, there was a blonde woman that was running in Florida. I swear to God, her energy was so good. Was she running for Congress? I don't remember her name.
She was running for, I've forgotten her name as well. And she did very well. She was running in a very red,
she could have done it.
She was right there. She was right there.
I wonder if she would run for governor. I don't see it though. Who's Jolly? Rossi is saying Jolly is running. I don't know who Jolly is.
I don't know Jolly either.
Rebecca Jones. Thank you, Rose.
I need to get up on my Florida politics. Oh, David Jolly. Isn't he in Congress right now?
Why do I feel some kind of way about him? Is he a Democrat?
Yeah, but I think he's in Congress.
I don't know. How do you feel about David Jolly? I don't know why. He's a former representative.
Former representative. Okay, I knew I was getting that.
Okay, Florida. Former Republican. Thank you. That's why I feel some kind of way. I'm like, I don't know, but this man's giving me the wheelies, and I don't know why. He's a GOP that turned into a Dem. That's why. I'm like, I'm like, I don't like this guy. Okay, well, that's just wonderful.
No, I don't. I think again, I'm going to call it the Mamdani effect. I wouldn't be surprised if we see somebody new. These establishment folks. I just get a sense that there's going to have to be some fresh blood in the game.
You can be a moderate and you can say you're against Trump, but I think Afefe's right. I think the voters are, it's like toxic. Like if you even were in politics, you're toxic. Like we want somebody, it's weird because in some ways, I swear to God, it mirrors. Here is 45 getting people out of Fox News but we're going to do the same thing. I don't know, maybe that's an astrology thing, but I feel like we're going to be doing the same thing because the guides talked to me about this last week and they were like, remember Obama? Right. Obama, look at Buttigieg. Buttigieg was a mayor of a little town. So these people can materialize and come out of nowhere and win and be very prominent. So
that's right. Somebody just said in the chat that DeSatan and Marco have pissed off the Latin community, which
that's about time.
Yeah, that's so.
And the Cuban community. I mean, Marco, right?
You don't play with that. You don't play with that. You are in trouble. If they turn on you, you're in trouble down here.
All of the Haitians, all the communities that believe in that sort of strong paternal government, they get out of these dictatorships, but they come in here and they really appreciate strong police force, that kind of thing. those people are having this awakening of, oh, snap. This, I think they felt like with America's courts and checks and balances, that it would be okay to vote for people who were pretty tough on crime because they could never become dictators. Now they're finding out, the way the rest of us are, that it turns out you can in this country with all the checks and balances. You just don't pay any attention to them.
And they are finding out that they too are the other. They are the other.
These people that think they're not coming for you, I don't know what the heck, right? Just because Republicans trot out a Black person, a Hispanic person, a Cuban person, and it doesn't mean you're safe.
That's right.
Oh my God, it's insane.
Unbelievable. You guys are just jamming in the chat. I love
it. I know, right? Y'all are jamming. We got like 3,600 people. Oh my God, that's like a record. Wow. Yeah.
Do we want to talk about Fetterman? Somebody, I don't know how Fetterman.
We can talk about him. Go ahead. Let's talk. Is he going to stay in? I don't think he's well. I don't know if this is because of his stroke or whatever that thing. I don't know if it was before or after, whatever. But yeah. Is he going to stay in? Because he's a problem. He's a problem. And he's a problem for a lot of, like, I don't know if you guys saw when he was on the airplane, somebody videoed this, and the flight attendant was saying, sir, we have to see your seatbelt. And he was like, no, you don't. He's like, yes, we do. I can't leave the gate until you show us your seatbelt. I can get you an extender if this doesn't fit you. But he gave them grief. I mean, it went on and on and on. I don't know if the pilot had to come talk to him, but he literally was holding up an entire plane full of people simply because he was wanting to be a dick. So like, I don't know what that, but apparently his wife and his staff have been covering up for him. This was all in an expose in like the New Republic or one of those, the Atlantic, one of those magazines, where they spoke to the reporter and said, this is really what's happening. We are in over our heads. We cannot control this guy.
Unbelievable. When is his term up?
They'll tell us. I don't know when his term is up. I don't think it's soon. Maybe, is it next year? I don't know. We should be hearing. This is the thing about the Democrats, right? Like, we should be hearing about this. They should be circling the wagons. They should be saying, let's investigate this, or let's talk about this. But if we're not willing to really talk about earnestly about our own problems, 28. Thank you, Fat Fib. And
thank you.
Woo.
Yeah, he won't. I definitely feel he won't be back. If he makes it, even if he makes it that long, he won't be back.
Do you feel like he's going to make it to 28? I don't think so, because this energy of the pitchforks, the people with the pitchforks.
Yeah, I've got a 2 of swords, a 3 of swords around him, and a 9 of swords. The man's not well. He's not well. And I think, to your point, Susan, when you were just describing whatever apparently he did this episode on the plane, that it feels like there's going to be a repeat of that, or something that perhaps is done in Congress or on the job, or something that is just, there's no coming back from it. Like, there's no, like, no, sir, you need to go home and take a good long rest.
And take care of yourself, because you're not able to do your job. I mean, let's just call it what it is. You're not able to really do your job, regardless of how you're voting. Yes. You're treating your constituents and your staff and the public in a way that's not becoming to your office.
Right. Lisa said he's lost his mind. Clearly.
That's a way to say what I just said in a very quick way. Yeah. I think and the thing I want you guys to hear is that the people are getting fed up. And what we just said was, we're just not going to take a person who turned from a Republican to a Democrat and said, I hate Trump. That's not going to fly anymore. I'm telling you right now, it's just not. Going into January of next year, going to the rest of this year and the next year, going into the midterms, you cannot, appease us.
Yes.
Like that. It's not going to work. We're big mad.
Exactly.
We're kind of embarrassed, I think, too, for how we got here, for even a part of the problem. So now we don't want to be tricked again. we're gonna, it's just gonna be really difficult. It's gonna be difficult. Do you have another question for you? Were you gonna say something?
I was just going to say, to your point, we don't want to be tricked again, which is another reason why I think there's going to be this incredible push. Someone just put in the chat, astrologically, I know we've both been really interested in that lately, that all of these outer planets are moving as well, big shifts, right? So when you just said
big,
the reason we don't want to be tricked again, therefore we're not going to put the same types of people who are capable of being tricked or capable of looking the other way because they want to play the field. We want people we can trust. We want a different type of people. We want a different type of leadership, or at least a mix. I mean, clearly, not going to completely clean house, but I've been hearing talk of the potential of turning 40 seats in the midterms. Have you been hearing that?
No, I haven't heard that. Well, do you feel like, so this goes back to the whole thing about Jasmine winning, even though they do all their dastardly deeds. They're going to redistrict, they're going to throw out votes, half women can't even vote. Let's just face it, right? If you got your husband's name and you didn't go take your 5,000 papers, and they've done probably the best they can do to keep us from doing it. And even given all of that, I think we're going to turn seats. That's incredible. That's an incredible amount of energy that is pent up and being stopped and held back, and still breaking through.
Yeah, I just heard historic. Like there's going to be like historic. Like people going to be, oh my God, like this never happened. I mean, the House tends to flip for whoever's in office. It tends to flip, but for the midterms. But I think this is going to be big, and they only need, what is it, four seats to turn it? I think it's like 5 seats in the House. Yeah, no, you can get more than that.
And I think a lot of Republicans are going to step down because they see the writing on the wall. Like the MAGAs are coming for them, the Democrats are coming for them, the Justice Department, the FBI, everybody's coming for them, and they're going to want to seek a way to do that in private so that they can, make their deals. Somebody had a really good question just now. I mean, all of your questions are good, and I'm missing most of them. This is probably the next most important thing as the Supreme Court. God knows, Ketanji, it's Jackson Brown, right? I get her last names mixed up. She says, I just lay awake thinking about democracy. Like I can't, and I do see her as Chief Justice. I don't know how we get there, but I think, please read the cards and tell me, because sometimes I'm delusional.
Well, if so, I like it. I'm willing to go there with you. I won't let you stand it out there by yourself. Come on, guys.
Oh Lord, there she goes talking about that again.
Well, first, I do want to say too, along those lines, I was gobsmacked that in the decision around stepping over the order, the holding back the firings in the State Department, that she was the only one to dissent. That even Sotomayor and Kagan flipped.
I mean, what?
I never saw that coming.
I didn't see that coming either.
I thought it was going to be the 6th because Amy's run for the hill.
We thought it was going to be the usual.
I thought it was going to be the usual, but I did not see her, Ketanji Brown Jackson on the out there.
The lone dissent.
Lone dissenting. I just did not see that spirit. I had to center my energy. Will Ketanji Brown Jackson become Chief Justice? 3 of Pentacles. She's got a work cut out for her, but she will also have support. King of Wands, but that doesn't have to be gender specific. But that does feel like there's somebody who would, I don't know if that's Kavanaugh. There's somebody who would get, I'm sorry, y'all, that just slipped.
Oh, made me throw up. Oh, girl.
and Knight of Pentacles. There would be a lot of opposition to her doing that, but there would also equally, they just told me, each, what is that saying? Einstein's theory, each action has its equal and opposite reaction. So
Yes.
I'm looking also at the Page of Cups, Susan. I think that, there's somebody there who would try and counter her. Like there's somebody there who also sees themselves doing it or overlooking it, and but I think she will, Spirit, if because I see all the effort and momentum behind it, but I don't see her sticking the landing. Spirit, please show me a major arcana, if in fact, and a right one, if in fact she will make it to the Chief Justice. Ketanji Brown Jackson. Nine of Pentacles. Ace of Swords. You know, I like my aces, y'all. Y'all know how I feel. If you know me, you know how I feel.
I know. That's why I was like, we're done. We can just close this up right now.
The Knight of Wands. I think it's a really good chance that she will.
I think it's a good chance, you guys.
I think it's a
I'm
really
not saying next month or even next year, but
yeah.
I'm saying that, you know, if Miller wants to stick around and stay in the game, that's Ketanji Jackson. She's going to stick around. She's not going to give up. Yeah. She's tenacious. She wants to lead our country through the Supreme Court.
Well, speaking of when she wants to lead, because I just, as you said that, I pulled the Justice card with the Nine of Cups.
That's what I'm saying.
Wishes, desires, you know, or wish fulfillment with the. So clearly she does. And you know, it's interesting that you brought this up, Susan, because what I'm getting is that is a part of what keeps her up at night. She understands that. She understands how this really should be done. And she also, she pulls on, I'm hearing Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I'm also hearing Thurgood Marshall.
Yes.
She pulls on what she knows is right. Oh, I just got hot as I said that. She knows. And so that's part of, it's not just despair that keeps her up at night. It's her understanding this is how it should be. And she knows that she could do it. And she knows that she will do it if given the opportunity. Mm-hmm. You know, anything is possible with energy, you all. I say collectively, we just start to pour into that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes. I mean,
pour into that.
Pray. When you're worrying, flip it over to lifting up whoever it is, you know, Jasmine, AOC, Frost, Isaiah Martin in Texas. They're going after him. He wants to, he is just, that man, I don't know if you know that guy yet, but he's doing these videos where he's walking around going, come on.
Yes, come on.
I'm like, oh shit. This man is not playing, y'all. This man is not playing. So these people are realizing the moment, which is we can't back down. We have to stand up. We have to fight. We have to be tenacious. We have to stay in the game. And that's what Justice Brown is doing. So staying with the Supreme Court for a minute, because like you said, she understands what this is, what the Supreme Court is, and how it's supposed to interact and be a guiding light. And she understands more than anybody, I think, how it's not. Do you feel like, so let's go back to 45 is shuffled off the stage. We don't care which stage it's shuffled off of, as long as it's not ours. JD is in for a minute. Let's just stay there for a second. How is the Supreme Court with him? Does the Supreme Court back him? If Congress is bucking him, is the Supreme Court bucking him? Is everybody bucking JD? Does nobody like JD?
Nobody likes JD. Nobody likes JD. But I don't see the Supreme Court being pimped, is the word that I'm getting. I don't see the Supreme Court being pimped by JD in the same fashion that it is being pimped by 45.
What is that? Is it the MAGAs? Is it a shadowy, dark funding?
Okay, what I'm getting, thank you, Spirit. What I'm getting is because 45 knows the fix is in. So he's got Roberts et al. On speed dial. Here's what I'm about to send your way. You know what to do. Vance doesn't have that. So it's not just that they don't like him, but it's also that he can't pick up the phone the same way and say, I'm about to send this. You see, he doesn't have that same juice.
Right? He does not. He got no juice, y'all. Zero.
Juice. And I do want to say, because I saw Ashe, amen, and so be it. To my Wiccan friends out there, there was a couple of we were everybody's riled up. I love this energy. Everybody's riled up, Susan. So Ashe in my tradition and is another way of saying amen or so be. Yeah, and then in Wiccan circles we say so and so it is or so be it. And amen, you know, we can get an amen. So
let's do it. Let's get all of them. Let's get all of them.
Yeah, such a great group we've got today.
It's a great group. We got it going on today. So so you can understand, you guys, how this man has no, like I think Karen Schroeder, the astrologer, said he has no energy. Like in his chart, he just doesn't. He has no uplift. A plane can't take off without uplift. He has nothing. There's no energy there. So you can understand how he's probably not going to be long in that office because he has no energy, no connections, no juice at all. So then we go into, do you feel like the Supreme Court, I mean, when you go into the energy of the Supreme Court, without trying to go too deep that you have to put the spiritual hazmat suit on, because I think we're out of our sizes. But anyway, if you go in there, do you feel like, I just heard the word moribund, it's bound, right? But do you feel like change is, I mean, how does change take place in an institution, in a group that is so tightly wound that fresh air can't even get
in? Not wishing it on anybody, clearly, no harm to none, or as the old folks would say, or in this, you know, do no harm but take no shite. I don't think Thomas. So well, change. I feel like there's some rotation that perhaps is going to start to happen by virtue, kind of like osmosis.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I don't know if he's going to be the first one, but it's him. And then I'm getting I don't know if it's Alito or Gorsuch. I'm not getting Roberts yet, but I feel like it's either Alito or Gorsuch who could then begin to have some sort of like.
Alito's older, and Alito. Okay. So I think also the reason this is happening is because of all the things that are happening, right? So you've got 45. That is a big energy that's gone. And then you have the MAGAs, which are a big energy that's gone. Then you have Congress changing their power structure. So all the parts start moving. And then you see Thomas, and I think it's Alito stepping down. I've been seeing Thomas get sick for a long time, but these people are maybe some bad aliens are keeping them alive. I don't know what's happening, but somehow they, you know, evil is hard to get rid of, you know.
And it can be just as tenacious as the light, but ultimately the light wins, period. You know, ultimately the light does win, but that doesn't stop that other from putting up a good fight. And that's exactly what they're doing right now. Yeah, Susan, I think so. To your point, what you were getting in your spirit, yes, there is a shift, but you are absolutely spot on. I agree with you that part of what causes that shift is because it's a shift across the board. Remember, astrologically, even we're dealing with dismantling of all of these systems. So it is the executive branch, it is the congressional branch, and it will also be the Supreme Court. We will see shifts in personnel, and therefore we will see shifts in the types of cases that go before them. And we will see spirit. Will a future Supreme Court reverse some of these disastrous decisions that have been made? Will we see reverse?
Like Roe v. Wade. I saw Roe v. Wade being reversed.
Will we get some of that back? Queen of Wands. That could be your girl.
What you talking about? Which one? I got a bunch.
Brown Jackson.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Go, girl. Go. Get in there. Go.
That could be her, or someone, another female that comes on the court once somebody makes space. Four of Pentacles. It'll take some time. It's going to be a little slow, but they're always slow. But the Two of Cups. Yeah, there's a recoupling and death. I love that, actually, because again, that's some endings of the way that things have been done, endings of some of these decisions, and a rebirth, and of what is truly the will of the people.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that certain of these decisions, and there's the Emperor. So it will be, whether that's male, female, doesn't matter, but it will be, this is presidential.
Oh, well, go. Let's do this. What are you talking about? Wait, what's happening right now? We were just talking about Supreme Court, but now we got the president came in.
Well, because I think, to the extent that the Supreme Court, SCOTUS feels emboldened to reverse itself and do the right thing, is somehow influenced by the executive branch. Because remember, they put all this crap in motion by doing that immunity decision last year, right? So there's something here. Spirit, am I reading that the right way? Is this them taking their cues? Yeah, King of Swords. That's who's somebody on the judiciary. This is, they will take their cues and undo what they regretted doing, because this is not future. This is right now. Old boy is a Gemini. They are Remember, the deal was to keep him out of jail. The deal was not to enable terrorism. But by the time he got in there, Emperor, the damage was done.
And Miller, he got Miller in there. I think if Miller wouldn't have been in there, he wouldn't be doing this stuff, because he doesn't care. He doesn't care about that stuff. He just wants to put hotels everywhere. So you're saying Gemini. Are you saying this man could be out? Because I'm telling you guys, I feel like he could be out by August.
I'm afraid to hope. Woo! Let's pray. Let's just pray.
Let's just pray. Okay, we pray. So that's, and so you're saying that I saw that, you guys, if you look at my videos, I unfortunately predicted that they would take away Roe v. Wade. I predicted that, but I told you guys it would be gone for a while and they'd bring it back. So that's what Afefe is saying now, is this either new Supreme Court, or at least refreshing Supreme Court, is going to take cues from the new president, the new Congress, the new will of the people. I really think that we're underestimating how powerful the MAGA or these people gave the power of the MAGA, because if they displeased them, they were going to do a civil war, right? So so the Democrats tended to just say, let's not make them mad. Let's keep them calm. And, and this is without them. If they're not ready to go to war for their Orange King, then the Orange King and none of the other ones have any power.
Okay, just go with me here for a minute.
I'm going.
So when you were talking about August and the potential of what, could happen. So I started pulling on it, and the first thing I see is this Queen of Swords. So I thought, okay, is this, because then when I pulled the Queen of Swords, I pulled the Three of Swords. So I'm like, well, who's she grieving over, and who's this doing the grieving? I had a quick flash for a hot second of Susie Wiles, but then something, Spirit spoke to me and said, no, this is Melania. Is Melania upset? And so then I saw moving on or having to move on from this partnership. Grieving, grief, 3 of Swords, grieving. I think this is Melania.
She gonna grieve him? They must be like a clause that says if I die, you get half, you don't get the whole thing.
Well, but remember, he protects her. It's not about love. It's about power and influence and protection.
That's true. Okay.
Without him, who's going to step up?
Right. She'll have to be on the market for some Saudi prince or something.
Or hire, millions of dollars in security.
Right.
Yeah, I don't mean from a heart space, but I mean from a right now, her having him in her life gives her a lifestyle.
That's true.
Expect and enjoy.
That's true. She gets to live in New York. She don't have to see him. There's so many versions of her that he gets to tout around. Yeah. So you're saying by that kind of perspective that maybe you could see that he could also be stepping out in the future as well.
Yeah. That's what I feel energetically, because I was trying to tune in as you were speaking. I was like, I'm listening to you, and I was like, okay, Spirit, show me, is this plausible? Is this energy going to come sooner? And I see her unhappy. Now, I didn't pull death. I didn't pull the Tower. I didn't pull anything that drastic. So it doesn't necessarily mean that he's no longer here, but his deterioration to the point where she recognizes he can no longer be what he was to me. He can no longer cover me or give me what he's given me. He's on the way. And you can grieve that, or she will grieve. She'll be grieving that.
I think you're right. She's going to grieve her lifestyle or her whatever it is. So the other option is he gets 25th Amendmented, which would include Vance. Vance and his cabinet would have to say he's unfit for office. So that's another way this could happen.
It is. So I don't know enough about that process, Susan. So for him to get 25th amended, it has to be proposed by the House and then approved by the Senate.
No, I think the 25th Amendment is skip. You guys let us know in the chat. But I think the 25th skips the House. That's impeachment. Impeachment is it has to be voted on, and then the Senate has to indict. But the 25th, I think, it has to do with the vice president. There's 2 different ways to do this, and one is the vice president has to be part of it. And his cabinet, which would be a particularly interesting betrayal. I've always seen him being betrayed. I've always heard that at two, Brutus. You too, Brutus. You're gonna, Caesar. The VP in the cabinet. I knew Denise would know. The VP in the cabinet have to have a vote of no confidence, right? And just say, I mean, in a way, that's kind of a coup, right? Isn't it?
It is.
Cabinet votes along with the VP and right now, look at his cap. Can you imagine putting your future in the hands of his cabinet?
Well, and wouldn't they love it though? Wouldn't they just?
That's what I'm saying. He's the fool for having all these childish, temperamental people have his. And JD is bloodless. I mean, you would just vote him tomorrow.
Completely.
I also saw Ivanka betraying him too. There's potential for betrayal there for sure.
There is potential for betrayal there. I have the Sun. And I also have the Ace of Cups. And I have the 10 of Cups. So that's everybody thinking they can do better. Spirit, are you showing me that after this health event? Because what would happen in the event? Okay, in the event of us, he's basically incapacitated. Is that a basis for the 25th?
That would be a basis. That would be a basis that they say this man cannot. He has a stroke, and instead of Weekend at Bernie's, they actually admit it. This is that same energy of, it was also leaked. I shared this just a week ago. It was leaked. White House over the 4th of July leaked that they're worried about DJT and his mental acuity.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that.
So they're setting it up. I'm telling, all these things never happened last. He would not allow this to happen.
Yeah,
Yet they're happening. They're setting him. They're setting him up.
Yeah, I think you're right. But the energy that I'm being presented with it is not a coup in terms of backstab, but more when it the first time that we can solidly show that you are not up to the task, that's when we swoop in. But we swoop in not because we are betraying you. We're swooping in because on behalf of the American public, we got to do what you go sit down. We're going to get you the best help available, and so then you know what I mean. That's how the sun energy feels to me. Is so not so much where they're
it's like taking care of Papa. Taking care of Papa. We want his best.
Right.
Yeah.
We want what's best for him.
That's the rebranding. That's the rebranding of the Republican Party and of Vance. Like, we're good people. We're kind people. We love him. They don't want to really get the ire of the MAGAs. And I wrote this in a thing today. It's like they want him to go out the hero. They want him to go out the what is that when you're dead but everybody loves you? The martyr.
The martyr, yeah.
Then they can worship him and keep the MAGAs happy. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's why I think, and I've always seen stroke with him. So that's why I also think that if it's not the 25th Amendment, which I don't think they want that, because he's a loose cannon. If they can't lock him up somewhere and keep him away from, think about it. How are you going to get rid of him and he's still got Truth Social? He's not trustworthy. That's why I think he's gonna fall down some stairs, or he's gonna have a stroke, meaning
either that or he'll be heavily medicated.
Or he'll be so heavily medicated.
Yeah, so heavily medicated.
That he's on his phone, but it's Fisher Price.
Yeah.
It's not a real.
He doesn't know the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy moly. God, I think we've covered almost everything.
Well,
we have been on for an hour and a half. I could do this for hours. And I know Afefe could too. And this is Afefe and I together. We teach a lot of classes together, so we know we work really well together. And by the way, Afefe has a class. You guys, how many people in the chat saw Sinners? How many people in the chat saw the movie Sinners? Because I wasn't going to go see it. My good friend Cindy called Afefe. She didn't even call me because she knew I was already going to say no. And because I'm like, scary movie, vampires, no thank you, not going to do it. And so she called Afefe and said, you got to go see this movie. And then Afefe called me and said, you got to go see this movie. So it's really, if you don't see it, it's one of those movies that you're going to be sorry you didn't see. I think it's out now where you can watch it.
Yeah, it's on HBO Max.
Yeah, you could probably find it some other way too, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, tell us, you're doing a class. She's doing a class on Sinners, but it's not on Sinners. What is the class on? It's next weekend. You can find her information, trulytouchedbytarot.com. It's going to be in the description below. She also has a YouTube channel, which is amazing. But tell us about this class, because I'm going to this class, y'all.
Oh, I love it. So the title of the class is Spiritual Lessons based on the movie Sinners. And I have to give props. This was one of my members from YouTube who reached out to me about a month ago and said, Afefe, I will book a reading with you one-on-one just to unpack what I saw in this movie. Like, it was that impactful. And I was like, wow, you know what? And Spirit was like, you should do a class because she's feeling this way. I know how I felt. And like many of you said, no, don't want to watch it because it's scary. I do not do horror. Horror puts me in fight mode. So I don't do horror. And I have been resistant. But like Susan was sharing, Cindy, our friend, said, listen to me right now. You have got to go see it. It is not. You can do, it's okay. But the class is going to be based on the movie Sinners because there was so much in that movie, you all, around that I felt as well. My training, my background in initiation through both Wicca and African tradition, as many of you know, but there is so much in there that applies to racism that applies to our, what so much of what we've talked about tonight about our politics, about cultural issues. It is not just a Black film, even though that's the majority of the cast. It has to do with the Irish. It has to do with the Choctaw Indian. It has to do with the Chinese even. And what did that mean that in the deep South in the 30s, which is when this movie occurs, that these different cultures were there? What did that mean? What did that mean about our collective ancestry and the idea that from a sort of supernatural, magical perspective, that we all can tap into that ancestry, that we do not walk on this plane by ourselves. And I know for many of us, we get into our angels and that sort of thing. So I've just put together a class where we're going to explore a lot of these different elements that we saw in the movie, but applying them to our lives today and in ways that we can kind of gain better perspective about what's available to us today and what we're going through today. And going back to something Susan and I talked about earlier, that we are all in this together. Thank you for mentioning it, Susan. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. It's next weekend, and you can join like on Zoom or something. And how much is it?
It's $30. It'll be an hour and a half. It'll be it's next Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So that'd be 11 Pacific, blah, blah. You can go to my website. Susan gave you the website. It'll be below. And just go to my book online page, and you'll see an entry for the class on spiritual lessons from the movie Sinners. $30, 90 minutes live by Zoom, and you'll get the recording. And yeah, we're going to have a little question answer because I know a lot of people are going to want to, interact a little bit. So I'll be open for that. Can't wait to do this one. Super, super geeked.
Yeah. You guys, this is our lesson. That movie was prophetic, was literally prophetic. This is our, we have a Chiron wound, which, astrologically is our country was founded on racism, right? Our country was founded on, my God, what we did to the native peoples here. We're getting this opportunity to go back and examine it and say, is this who we are? Do we still want to think about, if you don't know anything about Native Americans and how they live and and if you only know that you go to the gambling, please go look up and do some research about how they live. The majority of them live with not running water, with no electricity. Why is that happening? Why are we still allowing this, right? Why are we allowing this resurgence of racism that's happening right now? Well, it's because we get to go back and look. It's being thrown in our face.
Yeah.
Are you this person? Are you this country? We don't think you are. We think you can be bigger. We think you can be better. We think you can have more light.
Absolutely.
But you gotta see the ugly so that you can fix it. The back of your shirt can have a big old hole in it, and you can walk around your whole life never knowing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, that's so powerful what you just said, Susan, because ultimately one of the facets of this class is what I got from this is so much of this movie is about choices that we make and our destiny and free will and the idea that, what we do results in that next thing. And so to the extent, as you were just saying so powerfully, that we are in this moment where so many themes that are reflected in that movie, we're living it. We're living it in a different way. There are vampires, not to spook anybody, but, a lot of what we've talked about tonight, there's a lot of vampires in these corporate boardrooms who want to take more and more and more lifeblood from the public by way of healthcare, education, Medicare, blah, blah, blah. There's all sorts of metaphorical correspondences. And so that's when I say spiritual lessons, as Susan was saying, there's so much for us reflected in that movie. So
I think once you learn these lessons, once you become aware, once you can have a different perspective, you can you're not in this human pain because you can kind of step out of it and see the bigger perspective and how people are players and you could kind of look at it with some distance. And I think that helps a lot. So I think looking at it from like Afefe's perspective of sort of an academic perspective can actually really help. And I'll say this too, after that movie, the very next day, there were scores of college professors calling to get access and say, hey, can I teach my class on this? So this has sparked a whole educational,
Really has.
you know,
Really
side.
has.
And so Afefe is just bringing it from a spiritual perspective, which I think is going to be super helpful for all of us, right? And people like Goebbels, people like Miller, this, you could put Miller right in the middle of sinners and he would fit just fine.
He absolutely would. He absolutely would. So thank you again, Susan. I appreciate it. And thank you, everybody. I really have appreciated your presence and your energy and your knowledge, and all of that. I'm so glad that you spent some time with us today.
Me too. Thanks, everybody. Please, if you're new here, subscribe to both of us. We would really appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. Look at Afefe's website, trulytouchedbytarot.com, my website, susanlimmedium.com. We're here. We're going to do this again. We're both on YouTube all the time. But not always together and live. And I think I had a blast and I'd like to do this again.
Always, always. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity. It's always fun.
Always fun. You guys take really good care of yourselves. Do something nice for yourself. That's the most important thing, okay? We'll see you again soon.